Hello there everyone and welcome to a new review on the channel, and today we're looking at an older product but one that is very good, and that is Tool by David Stone. I think a product that a lot of people already own, or something that a lot of people have wanted but completely forgot it existed. So I'm here to make a review on it so that maybe remind you that this actually exists, and maybe if it was on your bucket list to maybe give it a buy or maybe not. So let's learn more about it right after the intro. Perfect, so you decide to stick around, which means you want to learn more about Tool. Now, what is Tool? Tool, in essence, is a gimmick that allows you to produce, vanish, transpose, change, restore playing cards. It's a very versatile tool that's going to let you to do a bunch of stuff. Now, I'll show you a very bare bones kind of way to use this. So essentially, you would take out your cards, you would spread them on the table or in the hand, and you'd ask, for example, 4 spectators or 1 spectator to choose random cards. So let's say someone chooses this one, someone chooses, let's say this, someone chooses this, and someone chooses this. So 4 random cards selected from the spread, and that couldn't be any more fair. You then take them and you tell them, perfect. So what we're gonna do, we'll place these right here, or even cover them right here so that you don't think that I can do anything with them, and we'll get to those cards in a moment. So then you talk, or you try and explain something, or you introduce a bill or a calendar or notebook, whatever you want for the purpose of the routine. And then you tell them at the point of the reveal, you tell them, perfect. So look, what we're gonna do here is look at the 4 cards that you chose, right? Freely selected, you chose those 4. Let's see what they are. And in this case, it's ace, 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 and ace. But of course, in an actual performance, you'd probably put something else. So that is a very bare bones performance of what the Tool gimmick allows you to do. So now that you know what the Tool does, let's talk more about it. So first, let's talk about where do you buy this, how much does it cost, and what do you get. So you can buy this pretty much at any major Magic dealer. It's available pretty much everywhere. It costs $29.99 US, and what you get is this DVD. Inside of this DVD, you get, well, your DVD that has instructions, live performances for every single routine, and 11 routines explained. And one thing to note about this is that there's performances in French, then in English, but the instructions are done neither in English nor French. They're just basically close-up of David Stone's hands and with subtitles if need be, because the tricks are pretty easy to do. So you get the DVD, and then you also get 2 extra things. You get 1 box, which is blue, with your Tool gimmick, and then you get another gimmick in red, the same gimmick as this one, but you get it in red. And I haven't yet opened my red one, but as you can see, the gimmicks come packed flat, just as so. The gimmicks come packed flat, and all you have to do is basically just remove the tape here, and then you're good to go. You just assemble your box. No big assembly or anything like that needed for this. You just glue the bottom and shape up the box. That's all. So that's everything that you get with Tool. So before we continue, what are some of the routines? Well, some of the routines are similar to what I showed you, but instead of having the 4 aces, you reveal a serial number, or you reveal someone's birthday, or you reveal someone's birth year, or you reveal a 4-digit PIN code, or you can do a torn and restored where you tear a card in 4, you place it, you take the box, you hit it, and then it changes fully restored. The card restores. You can also do changes where you have like the 2 of diamonds, and let's say they chose this 10 of spades. You go, so it wasn't that, look, with just a tap, it changes. There's a really cool color changing deck routine where the deck is all blue, and with a tap, it becomes all red. There's a bunch of really cool routines that you can do with this. So now that you know extensively what this is, let's talk about difficulty. So what is the difficulty of Tool? Well, I'd say that probably 9 out of 11 routines are super easy. There's virtually no sleight of hand. There's maybe some double lifts, some triple lifts, small things like that. Nothing very complicated to do. Pretty much the gimmick takes care of all the heavy lifting that you would have to do normally. and most of them are easy. Then there's there's maybe 2 or maybe 3 routines out of 11 max that require a bit more finesse, that require a bit of misdirection, that require you to handle the box in a certain angle. So there's very few routines that actually require some sleight of hand or some work, and those that do, it's nothing too hard, maybe intermediate level at max, but nothing too complicated. It's relatively a very easy utility device to use. Having said that, what is the practicality of this? What is the practicality of this? So first, let's start with its carrying practicality. So for starters, you get your box, so you can just take your cards and put them in the box and carry your gimmick card box and your cards in one. So that instead of carrying your normal card box, you just plop your cards in there and you're ready to go and perform. So basically, practicality carrying wise is just as much as a normal deck. However, for me, for example, since this is a gimmick card box and I don't want to necessarily put it in my pants pocket and have it rub the whole day or anything like that, I usually just carry, when I do this at a show, for example, I carry my deck, which is normal, inside of my right pocket, and I just carry the box in my left pocket. And when I get to the table, when I remove the box, I just take the cards like this and I pretend they're out of the box, right? So I have the box empty and I have the card separate, just so that I could preserve this for as much as I want, because it is still just a card box. And well, as we know, if you carry around a card box in your pants and you perform a lot with it, it gets beat up pretty fast. So regarding that, let's talk about the durability of this. What is the durability? Well, it lasts as much as a card box. So if you use this as your normal card box for your normal deck of cards, well, then your gimmick is going to wear as fast as your normal card box. So, keep that in mind. You are provided 2 of them, and they are really, really well made. And once you know how these are made, you could very possibly just attach a part of the gimmick to another card box and essentially just keep your own and go recycling the gimmick. But these are made a bit more durable than a normal card box. They're a bit more plasticky, so they should last a long time. You are provided 2 of them, and the effect isn't that expensive. So, for 15, technically you're paying $15 for each gimmick, which isn't that much. You can keep buying this and rehaving your card boxes, and it should last you a long time. Now let's talk about angles. Are the angles good? And the angles are great. Most of the routines don't require any angle. The only way someone can see something is that if they're if they're looking at the deck like this, right? So if they're really staring like that, maybe they can see something. So angle wise, you're pretty much covered. There's maybe 1 or 2 routines where you have to do something with the box at a certain angle to ditch something. That may have some angle issues, but most of the time, no angle restrictions here whatsoever. What about the reset? What is the reset of this? Well, the reset I can show you right now. I won't show it to you like this, but you would essentially just go, and as you're done going from a table, just like this, I've reset the deck and I'm ready to go again at my next table for this effect or wherever I want. I'm essentially right now ready to do the effect again. So as you can see, the reset is super quick. For pretty much every routine, the reset is instant. By instant, like for me, a reset of 3 seconds, just as I did. I literally just went and came back up and shuffled the deck. That's pretty much an instant reset as you go from a table. You just pick the cards up, you say thank you, you put this in your pocket, you put this in your pocket, and you're ready to go at the next table. So the reset is super quick. Now, of course, if you are doing the Tort and Restored or other routines, then there's a bit more cleanup. But most of the routines, again, pretty fast reset. Now, what about inspectability? Well, inspectability depends on the routine that you do. Half of the routines, you start out with the box fully examinable, as is now. I could literally have you examine the box. You can look at that. You can also look at the deck. There's not much to be seen, even though there is a gimmick on the deck. Pretty much at a casual, you could show the cards just like this, and no one is pretty much going to spot anything. And from the back, they can't spot anything. So the deck is relatively inspectable at the start, and the card box is as well. However, some other routines, you start with the card box not being fully examinable and the deck being fully examinable. right? So it depends on the routines that you do. So no matter what, at one point or another, you'll have the card box that's inspectable and the deck isn't. And in the other sense, you'll have the deck that isn't inspectable, but the card back. On the other scenario, I think I'm losing myself in the scenarios. The card box is not inspectable, the deck is, or the other scenarios, the deck is not inspectable. Or you get what I mean. You get what I mean. So essentially, one way or another, one of the two objects will not be inspectable. But in most of the routines, you're going to end with the card box going in your pocket and the deck being fully examinable at the end of the routine. So having said all that, let's talk about where would you perform this. So where would you perform Tool? Essentially, you would perform Tool anywhere you perform your card magic. So as long as you perform card magic, whether it's stage, parlor, close-up, walk around, wherever, as long as you perform card magic with, I think it's pretty obvious, bicycle, rider back, either blue or red, because the gimmicks are in blue or red, you can perform Tool. That's pretty much it. There's nothing really to say about where to perform this because there's not any restrictions. As long as you can perform card magic in your venue, you can perform Tool. So, having said all of this, what are the positives and negatives of Tool? So let's start with the negatives. What are the negatives? The first negative is that yes, it is only in bicycle back or phoenix back if you buy it from Card Shark, which means that if you perform at your events with a fancier deck or you perform with your own deck of cards or anything like that, or with bees or any other brand of playing cards, then you won't be able to use the Tool gimmick. You'll have to carry it with a matching deck of cards for your event. I know for some people that may not be an issue because most people do perform with bicycles as well as myself, but I do know some people like to, if they're going at certain type of events that are more upscale, to have a more specially printed deck of cards and a more elegant looking deck than a bicycle. A second negative that I can get or I can give you for Tool is that eventually your card box is going to wear out, and that also at one point or another in your routine, the deck or the box is not going to be examinable. So that's all I have to say about the negatives. What are the positives of Tool? The positives are the routines explained are very good. But the best part of this is that once you get it and once you know what you can do with it, the routines will come to you. You're going to have routines where you're like, oh, and that routine, I'm doing a 4-for-4 switch that requires a palm or something. So you're going to be like, okay, I can make that routine cleaner by using this. So you're going to use this instead of doing like a 4-for-4 switch that requires a palm or a half pass or a packet switch, anything like that. So this makes a few moves and a few routines cleaner. Also, I do think that if you're looking for a switch box, I think that the switch of cards that this does is better than other variants right now in the market, such as the Parson or the Boombox. I do think the switch that this provides you is much cleaner and much faster and much more reliable and imperceptible in my opinion. So I really, really like the switch utility of this, which is how I'm using it. I'm not necessarily using it for other things. I'm using it as a switch utility to switch 4 cards for other 4 cards. Another positive is the gimmick is really well built. And those are the positives of Tool. Is also, as I mentioned, of course, I won't repeat myself, but it's pretty practical to carry around, no angle issues pretty much whatsoever, almost instant reset, you can perform it anywhere. All of those as well are positive. So having said all of this, what is my final verdict? So would I recommend Tool and what would I rate it out of 10? Would I recommend Tool? And my answer is yes. If you perform card magic and you see a use for doing some of the routines that I explained, then Tool will not disappoint. You're going to enjoy your time thoroughly performing this because of how easy and how practical and how efficient it is. So if you're a card magician and you're looking for an interesting tool, then Tool is the right tool for the job. A mouthful there. So yes, I would definitely recommend it. And what would I rate it out of 10? Even though I recommended and I rated, I kind of praised it a lot, I'm giving it an 8 on 10 because I know for a lot of people, they won't want to carry around a box or a gimmick box with them everywhere they go. So it may not be for them. And also, yes, there's the argument always that a lot of things that this does, you could do with sleight of hand, right? I said that I really love how this can replace some of the sleight of hand, but some people, they'd rather just do the sleight of hand instead of carrying around the box. And even for myself, I have performed this, but in a lot of times I haven't taken it with me when I perform. It's pretty much up and down depending on my mood, and if I have an idea for the event, I'm like, oh, okay, I'm going for their 15th birthday or whatever, let me set something up for that, and maybe I'll put Tool in there. But as a workhorse, I'm not going to always have this on me. This is not something that if you catch me at a convention or something and you're like, oh, show me something, I probably will not have Tool on me. So it is very good. I do recommend it, an 8 on 10. So that's all I have to say about Tool by David Stone. As always, if you have any questions, make sure to leave them down below in the comments. If not, like and subscribe, hit the bell, and I'll see everyone in my next review.